And we are back here on Titans Talk. Phone line still open, 737-7767 for the segment. Michael's been hanging on for a while. Michael, we appreciate that. It's your turn, buddy.
Yes, I just wanted to state that I think we had some very coachable moments yesterday, and that just goes to show that the Titans are growing, but the organization, the level of skill and skilled play that they need to ascend to has to be from the coaches. And some of those coaches I felt didn't pull some of those players aside and kind of get on them about some little knick-knack things that they should have been doing and should not have been doing. And so that game was very winnable. And I think, like you said, the Titans need to take a better understanding of when they need to throw, when they need to run, when Mario needs to do his thing, and how they can all gel. They just came out this first game jitters. It just seemed to me as though the organization didn't have them all on the same page. And those guys are great players. Like I said, that first game for me was simply what I was watching, a coachable moment. And some of those guys just need better coaching.
Yeah, no question about it. A lot of coachable moments, teachable moments. I think they did that today. Michael, we appreciate the call. I think the other thing about it was it wasn't so much that they weren't prepared or they weren't ready. I just think offensively they never really got in a rhythm. I mean, defensively, they did exactly the job they wanted. They stopped Adrian Peterson. They kept Minnesota from putting together any sort of sustained drive throughout the course of the day. Unfortunately, offensively, they really struggled to come up with the sustained drives as well. Early on in the game, they did a decent job of staying ahead of the chains. It allowed them to do a little bit more. As the game progressed, they were unable to run as much early, and then they fell behind the chains. Then they had to pass more, and I think that kept them out of rhythm. That's something they've got to work on better. Maybe, as you mentioned, maybe a little bit more of a mix of the run-pass on first down. Maybe you pass a little bit to open up the running game. There's been so much emphasis on the run game. You got to think teams are going to pile in the box and try to stop Murray and Henry from killing him. And yesterday the Vikings did that, and that meant a lot of the offense had to go on Mariota's right arm. He's capable, but that's not the balance that they want to have for sure. Let's go to George. George, hello.
Hey. Enjoy the show a lot. I just wanted to call and comment about a caller you had a couple of callers back that said they should take Mariota out of the game. I thought that's the most ridiculous call I've ever heard. First of all, I don't know if he knows this or not, but the guy that holds the record in the NFL for the most interceptions thrown is Peyton Manning.
Right.
I think it's 6. I believe it's 6 that he had in one game. But then again, I've seen him throw 5 touchdowns in one game.
7, too.
Anyway, that's my comment. Thanks.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Peyton's thrown, I think, 6 interceptions. I think that's the right number. But he's had some bad days, and he's also thrown 7 touchdowns in a game before. So you take that. Look, you put a lot on these guys, these quarterbacks in the NFL. They've got to be your leader. They've got to be in charge of everything. And they're going to make a lot of plays for you, especially the good ones. But they're also going to make a mistake here and there. It's about how you bounce back. And that was one of the more adverse situations that Marcus Mariota has had to face in his young career. And he'll probably tell you he didn't respond as well as he would have liked to yesterday. The Titans didn't respond particularly well. But there's 15 more games to get it right. And that's what they got to do at this point. Let's go to Matt. Matt, you're next up here on Titans Talk.
Hey, Steve. Listen, man, going into this season, especially early, really worried about the secondary. I'm glad to see Coach LeBeau shaking up, doing a lot of disguises, putting in his signature on a defense that I just thought was going to be porous at best. Can live with, I guess, 2 turnovers that were, just bottom line. One was uncalled for, probably should have been thrown away. But take those 2 turnovers away. They played decent enough. But my question, why was it Delaney Walker in more? What did he have? 2 catches total yesterday?
I think it was 1.
We're going to be a really smash mouth, hard offense right down the middle. Can we get him involved some more?
Yeah, I think they need to. We talked about a little bit earlier that the Vikings spent a lot of time trying to take him out of the game. They blanketed the coverage. They double covered him at times. They didn't want Delanie Walker, the one Pro Bowl guy in the Titans offense. They didn't want him to beat them. And they did a pretty good job of taking him out. The nice thing is you have some other weapons. That's the thing is I think if you're hoping for the same production this year from Delanie Walker, that it's going to be 94 catches and over 1,000 yards receiving, I think you're going to be sorely disappointed because that's frankly too much for a tight end. It just shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be that way. But last year he was the only option. If they needed a play, they couldn't run the ball. The receiving core was putrid. They had to go to Walker last year. Even when he was double covered, they had to go to Walker and have him make a play for them, sometimes against double coverage or tight coverage or whatever. This year, there's a few more options. You can run the ball. You got those two guys who, by the way, Murray and Henry, both looked great catching the ball out of the backfield yesterday. But now you got Tajay Sharp and Rashard Matthews and Andre Johnson. Hopefully Kendall Wright comes back soon. Those guys can all make plays. And that takes some of the pressure off of Walker. I think he's still going to have a big year. He's definitely still a big part of their plans and the way they're going to game plan. And I would guess against the Lions, you're going to see a little bit more of him. I bet they're looking at the stat sheet thinking the same thing, that, man, they put a lot of effort to take him away, but we need to get him a few more touches than what we got him yesterday. But if the Lions come out and want to focus all their attention on 82 to try to stop him in the middle of the field, well, by all means, let some of these new wide receivers, let a Tajay Sharp or an Andre Johnson, let them have a big day. That's the hope for this Titans offense, that it can be more balanced, and that you've got a few more weapons who can make some of these plays. It'll be interesting. It'll be a very interesting matchup on Sunday in Detroit. Titans have to go on the road now. This offense has to figure out how to get going better. They're facing a defense that gave up 35 points in week 1. So hopefully it's a chance for them to really take a step forward and get that offense into a rhythm. Be more balanced. Run the football the way they did in the preseason so often and the way they want to throughout the course of the year. And conversely, it's a test for this defense. Matthew Stafford was terrific yesterday in helping that team put up 39 points in a win in Indianapolis. He threw for like 385 yards or something like that in the game. They've got to figure out a way to slow him down, to slow all those wide receivers they have. Maybe Calvin Johnson isn't there, but that is still a potent passing attack that the Titans will have to deal with. Got to take our final break. We'll be back after this.